Hello. Today we're going to hear some adventures with cats and witches from The Worst Witch by Jill Murphy. Mildred was utterly exhausted when she woke up the next morning after the horror of the bad hair day. Tabby was still in a terrible state. He seemed to have gone into a trance, hanging on to Mildred's pillow with a wide-eyed, almost vacant stare, as if he could see dreadful things in the distance. It had taken Mildred half an hour to prise him from Maud's front the night before, leaving a large rip in Maud's pyjamas where he wouldn't let go. Now he leapt on to Mildred's shoulders and clung tightly with his claws as she struggled to plait her regrown hair and put on her uniform. Maud put her head around the door, with her own cat, Midnight, a nice, normal, easy-going black one, perched like a parrot on her shoulder. "How are you feeling, Mildred?" Maud asked kindly. "Neck's a bit stiff," replied Mildred, "and Tabby seems to have had a complete nervous breakdown. But apart from that, everything's fine." She smiled ruefully. "Miss Greenwich just came round and said that we're all to take our brooms down to the courtyard for some cat and broomstick practice," said Maud. "Oh, no," said Mildred. "Not yet. Not straight away. Look at Tab. He just won't be able to cope. Do you think we could leave our cats in the bedroom?" "No chance," said Maud. "Year threes must fly with their cats at all times. Don't you remember? It's traditional. From this year on, the cats have to come with us everywhere." "Ugh, you haven't got any travel sickness pills or anything like that, have you, Maud?" asked Mildred hopefully. "Perhaps he'd feel a bit calmer if he had one of those. It really looks as though he's lost his marbles." "Sorry, Mill," said Maud. "I've only got some vitamin pills, and I don't think they'd be any use, although they are supposed to make children more intelligent if they take them regularly. Perhaps they might work on cats." "Don't be mean, Maud," said Mildred with a smile. "He's not that dim." After breakfast, Form 3 trooped off to the schoolyard, Mildred with Tabby clinging onto her front like a koala, where Miss Granite was waiting for them. She was sitting on a bench, rummaging in her large bag, while the girls stood around holding their brooms and cats, wondering what to do. Miss Granite pulled out an apple and began to eat it noisily, her dark glasses twinkling in the sun, smiling at everyone. "Excuse me, Miss Granite," said Ethel, stepping forward, her broomstick hovering alongside her with her cat Nightstar perched neatly on the back. "Is there any particular manoeuvre you would like us to practice? I'm especially good with nosedives and speed loop-the-loops. Would you like me to—" "Whatever you want, dear," said Miss Granite in her strange, high-pitched squeak. "I'm feeling a little tired today, and I think I might go and lie down. Perhaps you would like to take the lesson for me. What's your name, dear?" "Ethel Hallow, Miss Granite," said Ethel, almost purring with deep happiness at the thought of having Form 3 in her clutches. "Ethel," said Miss Granite, "you make sure everyone does the right stuff. I'll come along later and check." Mildred glanced at Maud as Miss Granite waddled up the steps into the school. "This is so strange," said Mildred. "She doesn't seem to know what to do with us, does she?" "She doesn't," said Ethel, "but I do. Come along now, Form 3. I'm in charge. Would you please remove that joke of a witch's cat from your clothing, Mildred Hubble, and apply it to the back of your broomstick?" "Why don't you lay off, Ethel Hallow?" said Enid. "You're not a teacher, whatever our Hey-Man New Form mistress says. I'm beginning to wish we'd still got HB if we're going to have to put up with you bossing us around." "It's true, Ethel," said Maud. "We're all perfectly capable of organising our own flying lesson if Miss Granite's left us to it. We don't need any helpful comments from you." "Tab's had an awful, terrible shock, Ethel," said Mildred, putting her arms protectively around Tabby and smoothing his head. "He nearly died last night, dangling out of the window like that. He's stressed, poor thing. I'm really glad we've got an easy day, and I'm certainly not going to force him to do any flying." But Ethel had other ideas. She hoisted herself calmly onto her broomstick, Night Star bolt upright on the back, and swooped past Mildred, snatching Tabby from her arms with one expert grab. "Nonsense, Mildred!" Ethel yelled as she zoomed upwards towards the roof turrets. "Stress, indeed! What this cat needs to do is pull himself together. He's been flying for 2 years now. He knows how to do it. Look at him." Mildred looked. Tabby was half on the back of the broom and half hanging onto Ethel's sash. He was so shocked that he wasn't making a sound. To make matters worse, Night Star, who was extremely territorial about his broomstick and about Ethel, was taking vicious swipes at Tabby's ears every time Ethel turned her back. "Ethel!" shrieked Mildred. "Bring him back! He'll fall off, please!" "Come back, Ethel!" shouted Maud, as Ethel and the 2 cats disappeared from view into a swirl of mist around the topmost turrets. A few members of Form 3 thought Ethel was right and that Tabby would be safe with her giving him a special lesson, but most of the girls were firmly on Mildred's side, patting her shoulder and calling up to the rooftops for Ethel to come back at once. "It's no use," said Mildred. "I'll just have to go and get him back myself." "Oh, Maud, I'm just a walking disaster area at the moment." "Well, all the time, really, aren't I? It's just been one thing after another. I'll never keep up with Ethel. She'll be doing loop-the-loops and goodness knows what up there." "Don't worry, Mill," said Enid. "We'll come up with you, won't we, Maud?" "You bet," said Maud. "With 3 of us, we can head her off, and perhaps we'll be able to make her see reason." They all snorted with grim laughter at this unlikely prospect. "Come on, then," called Mildred as she set off in hot pursuit. "We'd better be quick." There was no sign of Ethel among the rooftops and the turrets as the 3 friends landed on a wide patch of slanting roof. They propped their brooms next to them and kept quiet in case they could hear the sound of Ethel flying. Surprisingly, there's quite a lot of noise from someone on a broomstick, especially if they are moving fast. The broomstick itself makes a swishing sound as it cuts through the air, and gym slips and cloaks tend to flap in the wind. But although they kept completely still, there was no sound from anywhere. "Let's split up," suggested Enid. "I'll take the lower courtyard at the back." "I'll go over the wall above the forest," said Maud. "You can see for miles down the mountain if you go just a little way." "Okay," said Mildred. "I'll stay up here for a minute. She might be hiding somewhere, and if she hears you both fly off, she might think it's safe to come out." "Good thinking, Batgirl," said Enid. "Good luck," said Maud. Mildred leaned back against the slates as Maud and Enid took off from the ridge tiles, their cats looking calm and confident on the back of their brooms. Mildred felt the usual guilty twinge as she imagined, for a brief second, how things might have been different if she had just been given a sensible black cat all those years ago. Just as quickly, though, she pushed the disloyal thought out of her mind and craned forward as she heard the unmistakable sound of someone taking off from the other side of the roof. Mildred's theory had been spot on. Ethel passed above her head by several centimetres, close enough for Mildred to see Tabby, now hanging upside down on the broomstick like a sloth, with Night Star swiping at poor Tabby's paws where they were curled around the top of the broom. Tabby let out a desperate yowl when he saw his mistress below him, and Mildred, completely forgetting where she was, made a lunge upwards with both hands to pull him off. She missed, and 3 awful things happened at once. First of all, Mildred lost her balance and began sliding down the tiles, scrabbling madly with her fingers as she slithered towards the edge. Secondly, Tabby, who thought Mildred was reaching up to save him, let go of the broom and tumbled off, bouncing and yowling as he tried to save himself on the other side of the roof. And thirdly, Mildred dislodged her precious new broom, which plummeted to the yard far below before she had time to command it. Ethel heard the commotion as Mildred began to fall and turned in mid-air, putting the broom into a superb nosedive and coming up underneath Mildred at the very moment that she shot off the roof and into space. Mildred fell perfectly into place behind Ethel, grabbing her round the waist and nearly squashing the indignant Night Star. The cat's sense of balance was so amazing that he merely jumped neatly out of the way and settled straight back into his usual upright stance, looking faintly annoyed. "Yes!" exclaimed Ethel. "Say thank you, Mildred. I just saved your life." "Wait, Ethel!" yelled Mildred, as Ethel aimed for the courtyard where Form 3 were gazing anxiously upwards. "We must go back and find Tabby. He's still up there all by himself. He might be hurt." "Not me," said Ethel. "I've had enough of trying to help you and that stupid animal. He's a cat, Mildred, a stupid cat. Even if he has only got one brain cell, and he's not a real witch's cat. Even if Farmyard Tabby knows how to fall and has the usual 9 lives, he'll find his own way down." Ethel landed gracefully amid the excited pupils, and Mildred jumped off as quickly as possible, embarrassed to be seen hanging on to her arch-enemy. "Pity about your new broom," she said. "Now it's just like your old one. Poor you. Flying really isn't your strong point, is it?" Mildred saw that her broom had hit the corrugated iron roof of the broom shed as it fell and had completely broken in half. At this point, Enid and Maud arrived back in the yard and found Mildred holding her ruined broom, trying not to cry. "What's happened?" asked Enid, putting her arm around Mildred. "Everything," said Mildred, bursting into tears. "This term can't get any worse, can it? Now Tabby's up on the roof somewhere, probably unconscious, and my lovely new broom is in exactly the same state as the old one. If only Miss Granite would take charge a bit, these awful things wouldn't keep happening." "I'll go and fetch some tape, Millie," said Maud. "Strong sticky tape will fix anything, and I think I've got some really good glue somewhere." Maud returned with a roll of tape and a tube of superglue. They spread the glue around the splintered spikes of the wood and jammed them together, then bound the join with several layers of tape. "Better leave it for a few hours so it can set," said Enid. "But I can't leave Tabby up there," said Mildred. "He might be hurt. Can I borrow your broom, Maud, please? I promise nothing will happen to it. I'll be so careful," she added, as she saw Maud glancing doubtfully at the bundle of sticky tape. "I'll just take a quick look round and come straight back if I can't see him. Please, Maudie." "All right," said Maud, trying not to sound nervous. "But only be 10 minutes, okay?" Poor old Tabby stuck on the roof. I wonder if he will be saved. No doubt. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll have more stories soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.